Hello, 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 hello. We are good. We are good to go. How's it going? How's it going? Make sure everything's good. A minute to get started here and ready to go. What's up, David? How you doing? Hello. Yeah. Sounds like my sound is good, which is always fun. Morgan. Guten Morgan. How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? Second to get started here, and then we'll get going. As everybody comes in, as you guys come into the, the chat here, like let me know who's here, so I can know I know who I'm talking to. What's up, Dimitri? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? If anybody caught my post to Google Classroom yesterday, if you have something to write with, I'll explain what we're going to get into here in a few minutes. I just want to make sure everybody kind of gets in, and then we're all good to go. So, a second here, because I know first thing in the morning, it's always a fun time. There we go. So let's get kind of rolling here. What am I talking about? What am I talking about today? What am I talking about? And I think you all, if you've seen the chat, here, you should have seen where I talked about surface area and nets, right where I'm circling there on the chat there. We're going to try our best to do a little interactive activity. If we by interactive, I mean something different than me just writing problems down and you guys kind of sitting there going, "Oh my God, when's he going to stop?" But if you guys have found into Google Classroom, this is up to you guys whether or not you want to. If you're live with me or you're on demand, if you go into your Google Classroom, and again, this is totally entirely up to you, and I'll make this that much more either pleasant or not non-bearable there. If you get into your Google Classroom, you're gonna see an assignment that's in there where it's gonna be saying, let's see here, dun, dun, dun. Let's go. Let me find the right one. Oh, there. Yes, that one. You should see something along the lines of this to the side. Possibly it might have not posted. I don't know. I don't know. There. Be under classwork. There you go. There you go. If you go under classwork, and you'll see what it says. It says student edition e-text. Again, this is for if you want to follow along with me for what I'm going to go through. I'm going to be referencing a list of like questions here. It's just something for you to have to go to reference here when it comes to what we're going to be working with here. So as you can kind of see, it's a little activity. It's going to be called 3-act mathematical modeling. It's about modeling. You're going to give you a situation, and this is something to where if we were full within class, like if we were actually physically in class, I mean, we'd be able to have a good discussion with the 15-ish people that are in there to kind of get everybody's different ideas and thoughts and everything of that sort to kind of just see what they come up with. This is something about ways to come up with answers to a certain question, to a certain problem that you're going to see. So give you guys a second. If you guys are live, if you want to go to that, that's great. If not, that's okay too. It's totally entirely up to you. But again, to get that, you should either see it up on Google Classroom on your stream, or you can go into classwork, and then it's the top. It's the Students Edition e-text. All it does is just brings up a PDF file. That's all. That's all it is. It comes up through your Pearson Realize account. Okay, so enough with that for now. Let's get kind of right into what we're going to talk about. So, what I want to do, I'm going to start off. I want to bring up a little bit of a question, a little quote unquote challenge. And again, if you're live with me, that's great. Have something to write with. If not, that's okay too. You're with me on demand. I want to get into this. I want to get into this, and don't worry, we're not going through all four of these right now. Right now, but if if you were to look at this, and I gave you a question, and I said, the side of, or actually, I'm going to, that's the wrong one. Oh, there we go. So the question comes, it says, will the area of figure B be greater or less than the area of a square with a side length of 42 feet? And then it says to explain how you know. Now, if you guys remember before we had left, we were talking kind of about this, figures that were, figures that were kind of what they call composite. Composite figures. I could have a triangle that's kind of off base, like we see here, put on top of a rectangle, and then you kind of say, we'll find the area of this, and then we find the area of the rectangle, and then we add them together. It's the same thing that we're doing right here. Now, for the sake of us being kind of a virtual kind of way of doing things, I'm going to kind of walk through this. If we were in class, I would actually have you guys come up to the board and draw this, and like we were doing before, and having all good, wonderful, great bits of fun with this. So here's the thing. I always like to say again, broken record here. You have a question. You have a question. It says, "Will the area?" So you're trying. So what are you trying to find in this question here? You're trying to find the area. You're trying to find the area of figure B. And as we look at figure B, and as we look at figure B here, figure B is a composite figure. This is composite. Composite. That's the wording. That's the proper math terminology here. I think I spelled that right. Composite. Composite. Composing. You're composing. When you compose a piano piece, you're composing something. You're composing, an essay. You're creating it. You're bringing things together. That's kind of a way to remember what composite is on that. But in this instance right here, it says, will the area of figure B be greater or less than the area of a square with a side length of 42 feet? So let's take the easy part first. The easy part. So we're trying to find is this figure right here going to be greater than or less than with the area than a square? So with the figure, well, let's draw a square. And again, if you're following along with me, you just have a piece of paper. You can write a square down. You can draw yourself a little fancy little square right there. And the thing is, if it has a side length of 42 feet, what's one thing with the square that we have to remember? A square has all four are the same side lengths, because a square means that all four are equal. So if this is 42, that means that this is 42. That means that this is 42. And that means that this is 42. So when we try to find the area of a square, you're just taking your side length, length, however you want to call it, side length times your other side length. So just for the instance of it being the time it is, if I take 42 times 42, it's going to give me 1,764. 1,764, right? So it's 1,764, and that's feet squared. Okay, so this is going to be, and I'm going to take myself off the screen so I'm not covering this, 1,764 feet squared. And again, that is going to be the square here. So that's the square. All right. I'm going to take this off here. Take this off. So now, since we know what the square is, now we want to figure, well, what's the area of our composite figure? So what's our composite figure? Our composite figure is made up of the what looks like the rectangle underneath and the triangle up top, triangle up top. Okay? So it's two different parts. So we start off with the bottom. We start off with the rectangle. So if we start off with just the rectangle here, I'm going to try to highlight that good. Rectangle, length. What's up, Lucas? So with the rectangle, we are going to do length times width again on this. Length times width of 42 times 30. So if you were following along with me here, you would take your length of 42 times your width of 30. It's going to give you 1,260 or 1,260. Now, is that the entire area? No, not yet. That's just the rectangle. If I wanted to write this in here, I could as 1,260. So now we need to find out the triangle on this. So when we come to the triangle, remember triangle, if you remember the area for a triangle, yes, we miss everybody. Definitely. It's like I said, it's been since March, like middle of March. You know, we're already going into May. I mean, it's crazy. Very crazy. Very, very crazy. Very crazy. So when it comes to this triangle here, remember the area for a triangle is 1/2 times the base times the height of the triangle. Remember, base times height. Now, hopefully you can see me in my writing right here. Remember, your base and height of the triangle are what makes that 90-degree angle. I think I was making, I don't know if it was in 8th grade or 6th grade. It's what makes the 90 degrees. Me dancing like a fool here, you know. So 1/2 the base. So the base is going to be what we see as being 42, right? It's 42 because if it's 42 down here, it's 42 feet down here. Then its parallel side here will also be 42. So it's 1/2 times 42. And then the height, it tells you right there, is going to be 12. You can see it, it's right there. It's 12. So 1/2 times 42 times 12. 1/2 of 42 is going to be 21. 21 times 12 is going to give us 252. So 252 is going to be the area for the triangle. So let's see here. If it's 1260 for the rectangle underneath and 252 for the triangle, to figure out whether or not B is greater or less than, let's add these up. Let's add those up. 1260 here. So if we take 1260 and then we add 252 to that, it's going to give us 1512. So it's going to give us 1512. 1512 feet squared will be what figure B, figure B will be. So in that grand scheme of things, is figure B greater or less than the area of a square with side lengths of 42 feet? Figure B, so figure B is less than the square. So figure B is less than the square. Less than the square. All right. Again, this was running through like composite figures, composite figures, trying to find surface area. Again, this is kind of more recent-ish from when we were actually physically all together in class there. Just kind of running through that again. You're trying to cut the figure into figures that you can actually find. You know, figures you can actually find the surface area for on that. Like if I looked at letter D and I said, well, let's try to find a way to get the area. Well, I can take this, cut that triangle off. So you kind of almost saw that triangle, mentally saw that triangle off, so that you would have a figure of 35 by 20, and then you'd be able to do your subtraction, and to know that the base here would be 15, the height would be 20, 1/2, and you can continue and go through with that. But again, it's dealing it's dealing with, yeah, exactly, Lucas, less, yeah, exactly. Um, Again, we'll come back into more of this stuff too tomorrow with our tomorrow's live stream. I do want to get into the little bit of the activity we want to do. I call it an activity. It's just something to where it's different than me just running through problems. I think it's a little bit more, conducive to what we're working with. The scenario of dealing with YouTube and online learning and all that good stuff. But one more time, if anybody was joining in like later, in Google Classroom, it's either under the stream for whatever, for the Terra class, or you can click classwork, and it should be saying Students Edition e-text. I mean, if it doesn't, like, please let me know. I'll be able to do it. But I'm going to reference this here in just a second, because I'm going to reference this. I'm going to try to bring up those. If I can here. Open it. There we go. 1 second. I'm going to bring this up. There we go. We can open this as it takes forever. That's okay. So again, it's called 3-act mathematical modeling. All right. This will take us this time frame and a good chunk of tomorrow too. So that's why I'm kind of starting it now, so that we can kind of roll into that tomorrow too. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you a video. I'm showing you a video quick. It's like 50 seconds, I think. 50 seconds. And the idea is to let yourself just kind of let your mind work with this, and let your mind work with, by seeing some of these questions that you see down here. I do kind of want to explain some of these things. The questions are going to reference the video. I'm going to, just because we're in this kind of online environment, I'm not physically seeing you in front of me. I'm going to have to talk through what some of the potential answers are going to be and what you're going to do. But again, I highly suggest going through this. If we were together in class, we would be doing this as we would take almost a full class almost doing this, because this is a very good way of just kind of letting your mind go, to be able to see a certain scenario and just to think about things. And it's always good to kind of think outside the box with certain things there. All right. So with that being said, now I can scroll through this a little bit, and you'll see. I mean, there's a lot of questions here. It goes through and it says you're going to predict an answer and plot your prediction. And then what happens is, and then I'm going to be giving you more information on this. So that, again, it's broken down into 3 acts. Usually the act 1 on this is going to be dealing with, it's a scenario in which you don't know as much information. So you're kind of sitting there going like, okay, well, how do I go through? What am I thinking about? What am I going to try to do? That will then turn into being act 2, to where I'll give more information. There's another facet of this where I'm going to give more information, and then you go through and you say, okay, well, what information would be helpful to know? And then you create your model on everything. And then Act 3 gives you more of like a synopsis, a conclusion. It ties into like a science-esque type thing too, where you're kind of, you're plotting everything, you're making your predictions, you're being able to, carry them out and everything of that sort. But enough talking on my end. Let's actually just kind of get into this here. So what's going to happen? What's up, Kennedy? How you doing? So what I'm going to be doing here, and again, there's 3 questions with this, and not to repeat myself 17 times, but if we were together in class, I would actually take almost a full class to kind of go through this really in depth. But it's something good to kind of see, and just, something different, So let's get back to page 1. let's get back to page 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start myself with a video. I'm going to start myself with a video. Hopefully you can hear this on your end. Hopefully you can hear this on your end. As you see, it's a whopping 58 seconds. So it's not a very long video, but we're going to see how much we can get through here, and we'll go from there. All right. Again, whopping 58 seconds right there. Whopping 58 seconds with that. So my question, and this is if you are following along with me here, so you say to this, well, what's going on in the video? So you say, well, what's going on in the video in this instance? And you would say to yourself, I watched this video, and question 1 on this is actually says, well, after watching the video, what's the first question that comes to mind? What's the first question that would come to mind on this? Okay. In my instance of looking at this, I would sit there and I'd say, well, why is he decorating the box? Why is he decorating? You see that he's putting stickers all over the box. Well, a lot of this is why is he decorating? Why is he decorating? Why is he decorating the box? Why is he decorating it? Another instance on this is, and I think maybe if you kind of look at this, you could say, well, look at how long it's taking. He's putting these little stickers. Looks like what he's trying to do is he's trying to cover the entire box with these stickers and putting these stickers, end to end on everything. Dimitri, I'm going to get into that, okay? So, it ties into Dimitri. It ties into everything. We're going to be getting into that in about the next part of this. Okay. So the question on this that I have to you, by looking at that video. So by looking at the video that you have, I want to ask you, how many stickers will it take? Let's actually do this. Let me bring this up here. You bring it up like this. How many stickers will it take to cover the entire box? So you say, well, how many stickers will it take to cover the entire box on this? Okay. That's where, by looking at that video, you were given just a very little bit of information, right? You were given just a very little bit of information to where, it's just about 58 seconds of information. You only see that he's only covered a certain amount of that. And you have to look and say, well, he's only used so much. So now it's just getting your mind going and saying, well, that's the main question. That's the main question of how many things. They say, well, how many stickers will it take to cover the entire box? So when you scroll down here, you want to construct yourself a little bit of an argument. Say, to predict an answer to this main question. What do you think's the issue that you have right here? You only saw this one time. Let me go back. If you look at what he's got right there, How many stickers has he so far put on there? You look at this and you see, well, it has 1, 2, 3. You know, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it looks like it's 10 in a row. It's 10 in a row, right? You know, it's 10 in a row. So you have to look at this and say, well, if it's 10, if it's 10 in this row, how many do you think it's going to take to cover that one side of the box? And that's where you'd be able to come up with some form of like a some form of a prediction with this. Now, with that being said, just for time's sake here, I don't want to get too far forward because I want to be able to cover the entire part of this because it's all going to make a little bit more of information on that. Does anyone have any questions with any of that so far? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat here. Any questions with anything so far? I know it's a different concept than what we've been doing, but it's something to where it really kind of it'll make sense. Believe me. It'll make sense. Believe me. Nothing. Bueller. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you guys go here. I'm going to get myself set for 7th grade. I hope you guys are doing well. I will see you guys tomorrow on this stream. We'll get more into this. It'll make a little bit more sense on that. So, with that being said, I hope you guys have a good day. I'll talk to you guys soon.